Throughout this week, we've been having a discussion over who exactly is an Islamophobe. Is Sam Harris, is Bill Maher an Islamophobe? We have to have that debate. But with some politicians, the debate is largely unnecessary. Let's talk about Oklahoma State Representative, the Republican John Bennett. He was doing a town hall, and he made very clear what he thinks about Islam and Muslims in America. Let's watch.
There's no radical Islam, and there's no moderate Islam, because Islam, Muhammad's teaching, only teaches one thing. And that's the violence that we're seeing today in ISIS and in the beheading in Moore and other places. That is Islam, period.
Wow, that is upfront, very clear. There's no extremists, because to be an extremist, you have to be different than the rest. That is what they've learned, all of the Muslims, including probably the president from his point of view.
Right, 1.6 billion Muslims. They're all radical. Mm-hmm. They all want to do these things. Now, when you point out Christian fundamentalists who do crazy things, but they're lone wolf. They're an exception. No, that's not Christianity. How about all the different things that Christians did throughout history? Oh, no, you got to go back 600 years to the Crusades. Yeah. No, Christians haven't done anything wrong in the last 600 years. How about the couple of world wars that killed more people than literally anything on the planet's history? Mm-hmm. They seem to have been started by Christians, but that doesn't count because they weren't. It wasn't the Pope. They weren't technically acting as Christians, even though they were Christians. But all Muslims are responsible for everything. But by the way, all these talk ranging from Bill Maher to Bill O'Reilly, I'm glad that it hasn't led people to generalize. I'm glad it hasn't led officials of the government to start talking about all Muslims, right, and categorizing them with all the radicals and starting us down a path of bigotry. I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah, not yet. And also, by the way, on the Republican side, if you want to go around and keep saying that America is a Christian nation, it is led by Christian philosophy, Christian principles, then presumably when we go to war, it is a Christian nation going to war with all the consequences of that. They seem to forget about the Christian thing when we start killing people abroad, though.
Yeah, Israel's a Jewish state when we're celebrating the Holy Land of Judea, Samaria, etc. If it does anything wrong, it's not a Jewish state. What are you talking about? That doesn't stand for Jews at all. No.
Exactly.
Only when Muslims do something does it represent all Muslims or the majority of Muslims. But when a Jew or a Christian or a Buddhist or anything does something wrong, it never represents that religion ever. So let's get that straight.
That's
John.
pretty convenient.
Yes. Okay.
Now, one of the talking points that they often use is that there aren't enough there aren't any moderate Muslims according to this guy. But if there are, why aren't they standing up and condemning what groups like ISIS are doing? He's going to do that here, but an even more ridiculous version of that talking point.
The sick freak, I'll call him that cut off the lady's head. He's absolutely responsible for everything that he does. But I have sweet Muslim friends who don't know him, don't know his religious, don't identify with him, and they don't like being, having their government say that they are no better than ISIS and having their Oklahoma neighbors be made afraid of them.
Well,
because they're going to come and behead them.
Where are your nice friends?
They're afraid to come tonight, actually.
No, why aren't they out there saying, hey, you know what? We don't believe in that. We condemn.
They are. They are.
Quran 47:4. Why don't they condemn that? No, they condemn. They say we condemn the killing of innocents. Islam doesn't consider non-Muslims innocent.
Expert on Islam there.
Okay, the Muslim leaders in the country got together when ISIS first emerged and wrote a 17-page letter condemning ISIS specifically.
Yeah.
Now, why wasn't it 18 pages?
Yeah. Well, and they wrote it in the blood of a Christian infant. It was a bad call. That was wasted paper, though. Why did they do that? They're not going to get any credit from conservatives.
So when the Christian fundamentalists went and shot up the Jewish Community Center in Kansas, okay, and by the way, just killed Christians and didn't hit any Jews, because of course, bigots, racists, etc., are usually dumb and they do stupid stuff like that. Why didn't Pat Robertson write a 17-page letter? Why didn't every Christian group in the country, why didn't the Southern Baptists write a letter condemning that guy? Why didn't every Christian, why, God damn it, why is the guy living down the street, why didn't he get up out of his house and say, we're not like that anti-Semite who shot up those guys, even though he's a Christian fundamentalist, that's why he did it, right? Okay. No, but a Christian's never a Christian when he's killing someone, okay?
Well, and in more generally, Christians are allowed to be individuals, but the Muslims aren't allowed to. They are just a part of a group. They have no distinct personalities or traits of their own. They are only one body, a representation of their religion. And this is a big strategy on the part of the Islamophobes. You have to think of them as just some other type of person.
Yeah. And he says, well, you see, in Islam, and he then talks about the Quran, in essence, by saying, anyone who is not a Muslim is not innocent according to the Quran. So whatever's in the Quran, apparently all Muslims have read and believe, right? That's normal assumption. But the assumption of Christians are that they're completely ignorant. They've never read the Bible. They don't believe the Bible. If you told that guy, hey, do you believe the Bible? He said, every word of it. Right? Oh, really? Well, it says that you should slit the throat of your daughter if she doesn't believe in the same things you believe religiously. Okay? You should never let your sword not have blood on it by killing people who are not Christians and who don't think like you do. You should kill your son. You should kill your brother. You should kill everyone who does not believe exactly what you believe. Okay?
Yeah.
That's in the Bible. So do you believe it or don't you believe it?
Well, I think
if it's in the Bible, do all Christians believe it? If it's in the Quran, do all Muslims believe it?
I think
two different rules.
with the slitting the throat of your daughter, though, you're supposed to take that metaphorically.
Yes, everything in the Bible is a metaphor, by the way. And what would that be a metaphor for?
That's the point. No, but and then they would say, by the way, no Old Testament. We don't follow that
right.
much anymore.
That's why
except
if you
when
ask that,
gays or something like that.
That's why if you ask that guy, that's why creationism is BS, and we can teach evolution, right? He'd be like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Genesis is in the Old Testament. I thought you said Jesus Christ wiped out the Old Testament. Great to hear. Gays, go ahead and get married. Teach evolution to everybody. Creationism is dead. That was Genesis. Noah, that idiot's in the Old Testament. Jesus washed him away with the flood. Okay? Oh, you like to pick and choose. But the Quran, every Muslim has read every word and takes it literally and then goes and kills people. Nonsense.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean Muslims don't kill people. By the way, it also doesn't mean Christians don't kill people, right? And more Muslims kill people. Well, okay, let's do quick math. We started the Iraq War. U.S. did. John made a great point. These Republicans always saying, we're a Christian nation, Christian nation. This great Christian nation started the Iraq War. Hundreds of thousands dead, maybe over 1 million dead.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, so there's terrible terrorist groups, etc., right? That's a pretty big death toll, okay? Iraq did not attack us, but different rules. We can start whatever war we want, but at that time we're not Christians. And then we could also kill as many people as we want, but that's okay. We didn't do it with a knife, so it doesn't count.
You didn't cut off any heads.
Right.
Yeah, well, I actually referred during the war to a tech manual, and most of our aircraft, between the button that releases the bomb and the bomb, there's a filter that stops spirituality.
That's right.
So that's, thankfully, we have that.
Yeah.
There's one other
Technology.
section, though, on this Oklahoma Republican that we want to talk about. It's not enough to condemn all Muslims. He has to bring it back to the Nazis. Let's watch.
You think every German was a Nazi? No, they weren't. But what happened when Nazi got in power? All those Germans that sat quiet or were scared to say anything had no choice but to follow and support what they were doing. So is every Muslim bad? No. But if they subscribe to Islam and what it teaches, and if they're not standing up and condemning what Islam teaches, then they're just going right along with them, just like the Germans did when the Nazis were around.
And see, when Nazi came into power, then all the Germans who also then all became Nazis because they didn't stand up to them. Okay, well, you didn't stand up to Tim McVeigh. I don't remember a letter from John Bennett speaking out. You didn't speak out against abortion clinic bombers. You didn't speak out against Olympic bombers. These are all Christian fundamentalists, okay?
Yeah.
And no, Tim McVeigh's not a Christian. No. He's just a radical, right-wing, very close to Christian, and he is Christian, but he's not, because no true Scotsman could have ever done that, so that's okay. And then the guys who shot up the Jewish Museum, and then the Jewish Community Center, and the Sikh Center, I mean, they were all technically Christian, and half of them wrote letters saying, I am doing this because I am Christian, but none of that.
The
Wait a
devil
minute.
made them do
but
that.
John Bennett, you didn't condemn any of those guys. I guess that makes you a Nazi. Okay, and all the other Christians, if you didn't specifically write letters condemning every one of those acts, you're all Nazis. Now, by the way, when I say this, some people are so stupid, they think like I'm actually calling Christians Nazis. No, I'm pointing out what a stupid, ridiculous point that is. Of course, all Christians aren't Nazis, and of course, all Muslims aren't ISIS. But apparently, we can't get that through people's heads.
That was a whole lot, and I never thought about it. Seriously. Why is it that they never accuse Christians of being a terrorist? Is it because of the way the terrorist dresses? And are you trying to say that other religions they are not violent, or they are not they don't terrorize the country or the nation? Because if you look carefully, everything is always you know, on Islam or Muslims? Why do they put all the blame on Muslims? I love how they dissected the whole, topic. The man talking about what he had to say about Islam, saying that Prophet Muhammad this and that. No, you cannot just say the negative part of a religion. Everything that has negative part has a positive part. So if you want to talk about something, you must, you know, talk about the two side. Don't just be biased because you don't like the religion or the religion doesn't sit well with you. Well, let me know your thoughts, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button for more. Like, share, and comment. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay blessed. Peace.